What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the New Agent Podcast. My name is Nick Overby. I am your host, as always. Tonight, we are featuring a good buddy of mine, a new agent to the office on our Agent Spotlight series, Matthew Deskins. What's going on?
Thanks for having me, dude. So happy to be here. I'm honored to be a new agent on your show. Long-time listener, first-time caller, as people say.
Fuck yes.
I grew up in Austin listening to the Bobby Bones show. I don't know if you know who Bobby Bones is.
No clue.
He's a host on American Idol now, so you should probably get up to date with the new American Idol.
So I gotta holler at Taz about that. She's always watching this stuff at the house. So
yeah, but he did a prominent radio show there, and I feel like that was the cliche call-in. Hey, long time listener, first time caller. Love the content, man.
But I've heard that before, but I didn't know the origin of it, and so now I am fucking even smarter than I was when I started.
I don't know if that's the origin. I just stole it from that, but
we're gonna call it that.
Regardless, yeah, I'm very pumped to be here.
Equally as pumped to have you, man. It's funny. I'm now reflecting back on the podcast I did with Perry, and then having other agents, and like, it's weird, man. When it's me and other agents, the energy is great. Not to knock the energy yesterday, but I was so nervous talking to Perry.
Yeah.
Fed comes up to me, he's like, "You look really nervous," and I'm like, "I was fucking really nervous." Dude. I don't know why.
Perry's so smart, and he's such an intense personality too, that like, I mean, he's the big man business partner. He's the guy that, at least for me and coming into this job when I'm his age and up there, that's what I want to be like. So being around him is definitely an intimidating experience. Getting started. But, from the first time I met that guy, I just absolutely loved his energy, into just his brutal honesty with everyone here about how we operate and how we work. And, that's the thing that really drew me to this place, because I'd had a lot of bullshit interviews and working in jobs that I didn't love, that weren't great fits for me. And to meet someone like Perry, who was just a no bullshit kind of guy. Here's the kind of guy we're looking for. Here's what it is. No cutting corners. It's going to be hard work, but if you're cut out for it, you could be great. So from day one, I absolutely love that guy. He's intimidating, but he's the man.
Yeah, that's true. So how old are you, Matthew?
I am 27 years old. You can call me Matthew.
I know. I don't need to be that. Oh God, geez, you see my gut. I don't need to be that proper with you. So Austin, Texas native. How long have you been here?
So this is my second stint in Fort Worth. I grew up in Austin, graduated high school there, came up to TCU for a quick 3 semesters. I was very fortunate to have an academic scholarship out of high school, but I was not, how will I put this gently, not maximizing and actually using it all. I wasn't going to class. I was partying really hard, and just wasn't, I didn't know what I wanted. I was going to college because that's what everyone does, right? You graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job. I wasn't going to learn. I was going because everyone goes to college, and then that's what I thought I'd always do. I didn't appreciate the opportunity, wasn't taking care of my shit, lost my scholarship, and my dad is a no bullshit guy. And at the time, I was not pleased with his decision to be like, you think I'm going to pay for this if you're not going? Pulled me out. And yeah, man. So from there, kind of carved my own path, but that's kind of what I always wanted for myself. I don't like handouts. I kind of wanted to figure it out on my own, and super happy to be here now, because I feel like this is where I'm going to be for the long run, which is exciting news for me.
What I love though is that it's completely like you're genuinely excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Not to say that most people aren't, but like you have a smile on your face every fucking day.
Dude, I have worked some shitty jobs, super shitty, dude. And when you have a job where you're like, I hate waking up every day, and I hate Mondays, and I can't wait for Fridays, and I don't want to talk to anyone that I work with outside of work. They suck. I'm sorry, any old coworkers that listen to this. I didn't want to hang out with you guys outside of work, but like here, this place is a family, from day one, like everyone wants what's best for each other here. Like they don't everyone wants to see each other grow. We're all business partners here. There's no trade secret that everyone's keeping from each other. Like, this place really is a little petri dish for growth. Like, I see so many huge entrepreneurs coming out of this place in the next 20 years. Just think about all these people who are growing into amazing leaders, especially learning from a guy like Perry. Like, this place is just, I don't know. From the first time I came in here, I was like, there's stuff to be learned here, and I'm going to learn it from these people.
Do you remember when we sat at your house a couple weeks ago and you told me the story about you sitting in the interview room with Perry? You remember that? You remember how that was? Okay, well, I don't know if you do, but I would like for you to reenact that story. At least tell us how that went.
From meeting Taylor to Perry. Okay. Yeah. So I came in, I applied on Indeed, and I was living in Austin. I had no idea what I was doing. I had just left my job.
So I didn't mean to interrupt. Why did you apply to a job living in Dallas? I mean, living in Austin, but in Fort Worth?
Oh, in Fort Worth. Okay. I'm married. I have an amazing wife. I should have mentioned that from the start. Let me just go ahead and say,
we're going to moonwalk back.
I'm really sorry, babe. I love you so much. You should have been first thing on here. My amazing wife, Maddie, is an emergency room nurse, and she is getting her nurse practitioner's license at the University of Texas at Arlington. Yes, she is a badass.
That's
super badass. Super badass. And so we had long-term plans to get up here post TCU, going back to Austin. Like, I wanted to go to Austin because that's where I was from. She came down to Austin for me because, again, she's a badass. But our best fit was up here for sure. Mm-hmm. My family's here.
Plus, you had to return the favor.
Exactly. Yeah. For real though. Mm-hmm. I owe her big time. Still do.
Well, I mean, I've seen pictures of this fine young woman. No offense. You are definitely out kicking your coverage.
Dude, do you know how many times a week I hear that? I mean, I think every member of my family has been like, dude, don't mess this up or else like we'll forget about you and just keep her. Like,
yeah, your dad's like, you remember that inheritance I told you about?
So
so true though. Yeah.
So fuck it up. That's why we started looking. I hated my old job. It was just like I was miserable. Like I wasn't getting the fulfillment of my work of really getting to help people, which is an amazing thing about this job. And I saw a post on Indeed, and it was something. It was like a corny line that was like, "Are you tired of your job and want to do something that will help people?" And I read it, and I was like, I didn't know anything about insurance. Was like, absolutely. Just like applied on a whim. Didn't even remember applying.
Of course, nobody does.
No one does.
Nobody does.
Dude, I don't even know if I did, to be honest. I think Taylor may have just like told me that I did.
Yeah, I don't ever remember once putting in an application for anything of this nature. And I got a phone call one day, not from Taylor, but from somebody. I was like, who is this? Like, and I still, like, when I replay the story, I'm pretty sure her and I text more than we actually talked on the phone.
I don't know. I don't remember applying for it.
So fucking weird.
But again, this is one of the, to speak highly of Taylor as well. From my first conversation with him, I was like, okay, this guy is also a no bullshit dude. He's clearly not lying. Like,
Taylor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, Taylor is like,
he's the man, because you talk to so many recruiters and you're like, oh my God, man, this makes me want to just like rip my eyeballs out. This conversation is terrible. Like we can't, there's no genuine connection between these two people over the phone. I mean, getting to listen to Taylor talk and recruit all day is gold. That man is so good at connection with people. So from that alone, I was like, all right, if he's a part of this team, a guy who's leading him, if he's speaking this highly of him, I know he's not bullshitting me. I want to meet this guy. So I come in, all suited up, and walk in 10 minutes early, and there's 3 other people sitting at the table, and then Taylor at the head of the table. And so I'm like, oh, group interview. Cool. Sit down. And Taylor goes, come on, sit down, man. We were just talking about what our favorite color is. And I was like, this does not sound like the phone conversation we had. Like, not even a little bit, because I'm like, this dude's smart, and this is a trick, right? So I'm like, I don't think I have one. Like, I don't really think about it. And he's like, hey, I had to pick one. We just pick one. I'm like, purple, because TCU for 3 semesters, I guess. And he goes, Now that I know him better, I love him. At the moment, I was like, "You're such an ass." He goes, "It's kind of a cop-out answer, don't you think? Just going with your alma mater." And I was like, "God dang it, dude!"
So to throw me under the fucking bus here, Taylor.
Well, we're going around, and some other dude's like red because it
because I'm
embodies my passion for sales. Okay, and he goes, "Taylor, what's your favorite color?" And he goes, "Well, I don't have one." It's like I wear muted colors. Well, I don't know.
Hold on. So I know that Taylor has been mentioned on the show a couple of times.
He needs to go on.
I actually have a podcast with Taylor and Victoria.
Really?
That I did. They were like episode 3 of the first series. I will never air that because it was terrible. But Taylor Poe is the Robin to the Batman, who is Perry Lunsford. Taylor, in my opinion, is probably the emotional stabilizer in this office. And I say that because Taylor has this amazing way of being logical, and not the way that Perry does it, but with more of a philosophy behind it.
Absolutely. No, he's very he appreciates philosophy, but he's also very practical at the same time.
Yeah, there you go. I wish I could say it like that. Yeah.
I mean,
he's very practical, but he also appreciates psychology.
Yeah, I heard a great quote, and it's something that I've wanted to implement. It was Jordan Bet David, or Patrick Bet David.
Yep. Formerly of Frisco, Texas, now Boca Raton.
He had a quote about just ways that you should carry yourself, and it was, be radically open-minded, but not easily persuaded. And I thought that was a very appropriate quote. I heard that and I was like, that's Taylor Poe. Like, that dude is so radically open-minded, but he's very firm in his beliefs, and he's open to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
So I respect that about him a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely steadfast. So anyway, I apologize for interrupting you. You were talking about the conversation you were having with Colors and Taylor Poe in the interview.
I ended up just giving him some pushback and some good jargon from the start, and I appreciated just the game that we were playing in that conversation. And then Perry comes in, and he gives us this whole spiel about what we're doing here. And I had made very clear to Taylor that I didn't know shit about insurance. Like, I was on Maddie's health insurance. I don't even know if I ever looked at a health insurance policy, to be totally honest.
Yeah, no, most people haven't.
But most people haven't, which is good for us. Now,
hey, by the way, go check out No Hassle Health Coverage with Nick Overby at Facebook, or
my Facebook page, Matthew Deskins, MATTHEWDESKINS.
I don't make sure that during this spot, we're looking at like 17, 18 minutes into it. There will be a link here, right here, under Matthew's name, or Matthew himself, and I will make sure that you guys have the ability to go and check him out. Even though I would hate for you to go get health insurance through him, come through me.
Go to him.
No,
unless you know me.
Yeah.
Come to me. If you know me and you go to him, then.
Well, we said this about Fed said this the other night, and look, I don't care about self-promotion. I don't really give a shit. Everybody on this page knows what I do. To me, it's getting yourself an opportunity to be out there, show who you are, because quite honestly, there are probably people, in fact, I can name a couple that have watched this show who like the guests more than me. And that's completely okay, because I'm not here to please everybody, but I am here to bring people onto the show, allow you to be a part of the audience and have fun. And if they like you more than me, fucking take the business, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's good for this office. It's good for me.
It's good for everyone, man. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to get to talk about it, just because, like, I know for me, and I mean, my background and my childhood, like, I don't know how much time.
We're getting into that right now. Actually, that's the next step. So, tell me, you grew up in Austin. I think it's important to kind of get an idea of who you are from a background standpoint. Like, tell me a little bit about your family.
Let me tell you about the roots.
Yeah,
back
that's
to the roots, baby. So let me talk. I have an amazing family. I have been incredibly blessed my whole life. I think that struggle is very contextual. I think that everyone has their struggle, but I think that I am blessed throughout my life, but I'm also blessed enough to know that, like, I wasn't born in the slums of Mombasa, and my struggles are much lighter than most people's, right? So my dad worked super hard. I had a really great childhood, man. I had 3 brothers. I got to travel a bunch. Like my dad kicked ass at work, very successful. I went to a private high school.
What
Like
did your dad do for a living?
he is in commercial real estate. He crushes it, man. His parents, though, are originally from West Virginia, small town of Welch, West Virginia, and so they grew up. My grandpa, who passed away a couple years ago, he was just salt of the earth, hard work, man. Just like whatever you do, work hard. Those were his dying words to me were like, learn how to golf and work hard. And I was like,
I mean, honestly, those are 2 of the biggest pieces of being successful in sales.
yeah,
I mean, dude, my uncle, I hate to off track real quick, but
no,
my uncle, my dad's brother, I believe is where I got my sales from,
yes.
right? My dad's a hell of a salesman, but my uncle, Mike, was the salesman. And he would always talk about selling $1 million deals on an 18 hole, an 18 round of golf.
Yeah.
But what he also didn't tell you is that he's drinking an entire bottle of vodka and the whole thing. And
Oh yeah.
but anyways, I love the hard work and the golfing because
he is just like I think golf for him was a lot of a self-discipline thing too. Like if you can get where you can get through a round of golf and not absolutely hate your life, then like that takes a lot of work, and it's mentally taxing, physically taxing, and it's just a good way to get outside. But
get drunk on the golf
and
course.
get drunk on the golf course, of course. That's
you guys know me. I think it's probably fair to say that's my thing. So.
There's 2 breeds of golfers.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah, that is. I don't want to take up. I mean, we're 21, 22 minutes. So,
dude, I could talk for days, man. I have the gift of gab. I can just.
Well, you know me. I mean, so
I mean,
what's fun about this though is that we get to 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Like, holy shit, it's been that long.
Yeah.
That's why the best podcasts come from conversations like this.
Sure.
Because it gives the audience an opportunity to learn about how we interact with people or how we interact with each other, but really learn who you are. Because everybody here knows who I am. So look, very well to do. You've done you as far as in the scale of bad shit happening and good shit happening, you're on the good side, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I am too. But I love that you're not the tip. I mean, don't take this anyway. You're not typical TCU. You're not typical guy from Austin the first thing I ever saw was your voice for Perpetual. That's the first thing I ever noticed because I respect. My dad always told me there's 2 things you can tell about a man: his character, and that's by his watch and his handshake. That was the first thing, and you've lived up to every piece of being able to be the man of the character that wears a watch like that and then also comes in like that.
My wife bought me this for my wedding.
That's rare. Very rare.
She's a badass. We got married in September. We cut our wedding in half, COVID wedding size. Save some guap.
Okay, so tell me about your wife, bro. Fuck you. Tell me about your wife.
Dude, for real. She's way more interesting than me.
What's her name?
Her name is Maddie. So
is it Madison?
It is Madison. Okay. Yes, it is.
Where's Madison from?
She is from Minnesota.
Originally. Okay.
And
she's a Dallas Stars fan?
Huh?
She's a Dallas Stars fan?
She is a no. She's I don't care about hockey at all.
So unfortunate.
Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota
Wild.
Wild.
Yes. Did you know that the Dallas Stars were actually the Minnesota North Stars? Came here in 1993. And who was the #1 recruit?
Wayne Gretzky.
Mike Modano. Money Mike, baby.
Wayne Gretzky is the
only... I mean, he came here with him. Yeah, I 100% agree.
I know. If anyone asked me anything hockey, who was this player, who was really good, my answer will be Wayne Gretzky.
Say Bobby Hull.
Or
Bobby Hull.
Or no, only Wayne Gretzky. I couldn't think of the other guy. Sorry. But she's really cool. We met at TCU. Actually, we met during finals right before I dropped out of college. So we dated. I broke up with her. Again, that's a different story for a different time. And boo, if you got is there a boo button on there? That's exactly what I needed to. And she's really gonna appreciate all these sound effects when she hears this. I promise.
I hope so.
So broke up, got back together when I came back from Colorado. Post ACL tear.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I could just I could talk for days, dude. It's not good. It is
no,
good.
that's okay.
It's
As long
okay.
as you,
As long as people want to listen.
well, and that too. I mean, it's just like anything, right? Like alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, moderation is key, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Moderation is key throughout. Life is about balance, my friend. The yin to the yang.
You're so full of shit. All right, back to the better half of you.
Yeah.
So, nurse practitioner in training, TCU med grad.
TCU RN grad.
Okay.
Certified babe, super hot. Absolutely love her.
I've never met her, so I'm only going off the Facebook profile pictures, and I will definitely concur.
Dude.
Right?
Like you said, way outkicked my coverage.
Yes, you did.
And not to mention, she is like genuinely the kindest person you will ever meet. She is. When I met Victoria for the first time, I was like, you need to be friends with Maddie, because y'all are both just like such like. She loves anything that's like sentimental and kind and sweet. That is just like, oh, she loves that.
That's
like
totally Victoria.
So exactly. So I was like, you two are gonna be friends.
And are they friends?
They've met once. She needs to come up here and meet everyone else. She's met all the ladies in the office.
Oh yeah, because that brunch.
Brunch,
right?
but hasn't met the gentleman. She actually hasn't met Perry yet, which she definitely needs to do. Yeah, dude, life's been crazy since coming up here.
It has. So that was kind of good. I actually wanted to ask you about the den. Excuse me. I ask every person on here because for me, the den this is my family. I mean, you said it earlier, but like this truly do for me. I mean, Perry has changed my life. Jamie has changed my life. This entire office, the experience of being here has made me a better man and a better father. So I guess I always ask, what does the den mean to you?
The den means opportunity to me. And I think that's how a lot of people here look at it, as like, I have my actual family here, which I love, and I've always wanted to have a work family, and I agree that this is that. It is also, this place is an answer to a lot of prayers, which is a pretty
hell yeah, it is.
Which is awesome for me and my family. Like, you know, my parents were really worried about me. Like, they were like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, how are you gonna provide? How, like, you know? And for me, I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, you know, but I knew that I wanted to be in a place where I could help people on a very personal level, and also that I could in turn that I could learn from someone who wanted to pour into me. So in the future, I could then pass that along to someone else. And when I came to this place and I met Perry and I met Taylor and I met everyone here, I was like, I don't, like, I will follow these people in here wherever we go, whatever we sell, because it's a place for growth, you know, and that's what I need. You know, I need, like, if anyone thinks that they can go and do it without a family like this, I mean, maybe there's people that can. Personally, like, I love having this group of people to support you. It takes a village, in my opinion, for leadership, especially in developing leadership skills and sales skills. Like, the more that you can just learn from the people around you, the more opportunity you have to grow. And so I think that Perry and Jamie, shout out to Jamie, dude. I haven't given her any love on this podcast. She's coming up next. Such a badass, dude. She's
the dudette is often underrated and overlooked, and that's not because she's anything less. It's because of the name, right? Healthy Insurance, dude. Jamie's, I attribute my continued success, or I guess my continued mental success, right, to Jamie.
Yeah.
And I talked about this to Perry last night, or with Perry last night, is that, you know, Jamie and Perry's more simple-minded, and that's not in a negative way. I overthink things, right? Jamie's that same way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Jamie resonates with a lot of people in here, is because she resonates with a younger group of people.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, you and I come from a generation of technology, everything, I think, but what that means to me is that we overthink, we're overzealous, we often react versus responding, and that's just because of who we are and the way we're wired, because of the way what we've lived in, and it has nothing to do with you negatively, because all that wiring can be rewired, right? And I love Jamie because oh, dude, I'll never forget. One of the first times I was in here, it was 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And she goes, Nick, it didn't click for me until I was like 34. And I was like 35 at the time. And I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
And it was, then things kind of started rolling. And I'm like, oh, this makes sense. But it was, like you said, this environment makes me do more. I mean, I always say, like, I don't ever wake up in the morning and be like, fuck, I gotta go to work. I gotta labor for money. Never once have I said that here.
No.
I've woken up and be like, fuck, I don't want to work today. But it has nothing to do with like actually like help the job, right? And that's the thing.
Well, these people aren't going to hold your hand either. No. Like this place from day one, they say it's a hard job. And Jamie and Perry both do a very good job of being like, we want to give you the tools to go be successful, but like, we ain't going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't want to show up and you don't want to work, it's not going to get done.
And don't bitch about it if you don't show up and then you don't get what you want. And then you consistently, after you've been told what to do, that you don't do it.
But
sorry,
it's the same thing. No, it's the same thing. Sorry, my brain just like takes off.
Rant. Yeah.
And I was having a rough week, and I was just not being myself really. And I had like 4 different people in here be like, dude, like, what's up? Like you just see, like I was here, like I was just like kind of reserved, being a little more quiet, like thinking about some stuff. And Perry and Jamie and Taylor and Andy, like, I mean, a lot of people came up and were like, dude, like, I just want to make sure you're in a good headspace, because like, I see how you are regularly with your work, and it's not that way. What can we do to get you to that place where you're working as efficiently as you need to? And I was like, I got this little thing going on. It's just kind of consuming my headspace. And they were like, take your time, dude. Get it out, get what you need to do, reset, come back to work. Dude, that's so beautiful. Like, how many people are just like, forget that shit, get back to work. Like they are like, take care of your mental health, man.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's important. You got to take care of what's important to you first. And then if you're not taking care of that, you won't be as productive at work. Like,
what does our boy Brad say? Not the guy here. Hard work good, hard work fine, but first take care of head. You've never listened to Sublime, have you?
I have listened to Sublime. I didn't know that Brad was the lead singer of Sublime.
Oh, well, that's a whole other conversation for me. All right, child. All right, hey, dude, look, as much as I literally could sit here all night, we have gone over our time limit. I set a time limit of 30 minutes max, just because like I've seen people just don't really want to pay attention after 30 minutes. So I always end it with this. I personally want to thank everybody. I'll let you close this out, but I always want to personally thank everybody. Look, go subscribe. I always put a little link here. Don't give me an excuse why you haven't done it, because it's there. If you guys need health insurance, that's not why I'm ever here. If you want to talk about it, please. If not, it's okay. Other than that, Matt, close this out, brother.
Nick Overby, you're the man. Thank you so much for having us. Listeners, go out, find a way to go love someone well this week. Make it your goal.
Hell yes.
And get some insurance if you need it from my man, Nick.
Or from my man, Matt.
Or from your man, Matt.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate your time. Have a good night, guys. Thank you. Pretty fun, huh?
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's invigorating.
That was fun as fuck.
I love it. That was good, dude. Actually, I like your energy's always good.
Thanks, bro. That was a great time.
Yeah, and like honestly, as much as I